Before we begin our celebration this evening, I would ask you to join me for a moment of silence to remember the victims and their families from the recent tragic events in Dallas, Texas, as well as Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Good evening. Would everyone please rise for the posting of the colors and the singing of our national anthem, performed by Sergeant Major Kimberly Hines Fairfax of the Delaware Army National Guard.
What so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Good evening. I am Captain Laura O'Sullivan, Commander of the Administrative Services Section. It is my pleasure to welcome you here this evening to the graduation exercise for the Newcastle County 42nd Police Recruit Class. Sergeant Davis, present the 42nd Recruit Class.
Order. On. Right shoulder. On. Class. Port. On. Leg. Peace. Ready. Step. Center. Peace.
would now call upon Colonel Elmer Setting, Chief of the Newcastle County Police, to come to the podium for opening remarks.
Thank you, and welcome to all of our guests and our extended family in and outside of law enforcement. For those of you who are new to the family because you know someone on this stage, my message is simple and clear. The world has changed. No more than 30 feet from me is a tactical team in full tactical gear. There are snipers on the roof. There is a fully armored vehicle out front, and it's not for decoration. We are living in a very, very different time. But I want to assure you that the people that you see on this stage have the best equipment and the best training, the best of anything that we can purchase for them because we believe in them. And it's going to be tough to watch them go out into this very, very turbulent world. We need protection for the protectors. The world has definitely changed. I believe that they will do right by our citizens. I believe that they will repeat my message that I carry to every roll call, to every special operations meeting, to every detective briefing. Treat people with dignity and respect, and we will continue to be a successful agency. We have done that. We will continue to do that with the Fighting 42nd up here. To our county executive, to our council, I extend my humble gratitude. I ask for many things. I ask for a tremendous amount of money to run this agency and to run it well. And I rarely ever hear the word no. And I thank our executive and our council for their support. Recently, as the world and national events have erupted, people have asked me, and they've asked my wife, who I think has not missed one of these graduations in 20 years, or one. They've been asking me if it's time to hang up the spurs or take off the uniform. No, not like this, not now. We cannot show our backs. We must pull together, unified as law enforcement officers. We must be brave. I know times have changed, but we are prepared, and we are well trained, and we are well chosen. And when we look out in our lives, we say, what does bravery look like? What does courage look like? What does being bold look like? It looks like this. There are people that walked out the front doors of this academy because this world's changed. But these people have chosen to serve you despite the danger. And I salute this class. I only have one last thing to say. We go forward with open hearts and open minds into a world that seems to have turned against us. But I don't believe that we're as divided as some people say. I think there are many, many people who still believe in us, and I can assure you, we still believe in you, and we're here to serve. May God bless everybody.
Thank you, Colonel Setting. I would now like to invite the County Executive, the Honorable Thomas P. Gordon, to come up and share a few words with the class.
In the last 4 years, I haven't had one day, one complaint. It's unbelievable about Public Safety Department. Joe Bryant,
Chief Setting, Chief Miller, Chief Dan.
you guys do a great job. It's been so many years since I sat in your seat in 1975, I won't even begin to make comparisons. But what has come down through the years in the county police is that you treat the good and the bad with respect. And that's community policing, and that's something that we expect of all of our graduates, that even people that commit crimes need to be treated with respect, and it's paid back in many times. So I thank you all, and I want to thank the families for putting up with the loss of your brother, sister, son, husband, and for the future times that you're going to be giving up, the Christmases and the holidays. But we appreciate it, and we need it very much. And I thank you all for coming tonight to a first-class ceremony. Thank you.
Thank you, Executive Gordon. I will now invite Senator Thomas Carper up to the podium for a few brief remarks.
Some of you are old enough to remember when you were a kid in school that you memorized the preamble to our Constitution. I'm not going to ask you to recite it tonight. But the words of the preamble, we're going to recite together the very beginning of it. And I'm going to say a few words, and I'm going to ask you to repeat those words. And then I'll ask you to have a seat. And the preamble of our Constitution starts off something like this. I'm going to say a few words, and then you just repeat after me if you would. We the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union. It doesn't say in order to form a perfect union. It says in order to form a more perfect union. And it is up to each and every one of us, every day, to bring our A game, to work whatever my line of work might be, to practice that golden rule, treat other people we want to be. And when our law enforcement officers, we've just been joined by Attorney General Den, when our law enforcement officers want to make sure that we have their back, that we're sort of there to support them, and to encourage them to treat other people the way they want to be treated and do the kind of job in community policing. As they do their job, we're going to do their job and back them up. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Ladies and gentlemen, our keynote speaker this evening is a man who has dedicated his life to serving the citizens of the great state of Delaware and to the United States of America. The Adjutant General, Delaware National Guard, Major General Frank Vavala.
Who said when asked about giving speeches, have a good beginning and a great ending and keep them as close together as possible. It's a big night for you, and justifiably so. But it's also a big night for your support network, your families and friends who provided the encouragement, counsel, and love that sustained you on this road to becoming part of the elite of the Newcastle County Police Force. So to all 21 of you and your supporters, congratulations on this first step of your police careers. While preparing for tonight's remarks, I thought of the similarities of our two organizations, and they are striking. I also think of the men and women in my organization that are deployed in support of our overseas contingency operations. In fact, as we speak tonight, 78 Delaware National Guard members are serving to support these operations in areas like Iraq, Afghanistan, Kuwait, the United Arab Emirates, and the Horn of Africa. I thank each of you and the members of our law enforcement community for allowing those men and women to know that there are people back home that are committed and determined to keeping their loved ones safe and for protecting the safety, liberty, and freedom that in most cases aren't available in the countries that they're serving. Today we're seeing more and more Americans that are taking advantage of these liberties and testing the safety and the security that all of us hold most dear. It would not be difficult to argue that right now is the toughest it's ever been to wear the law enforcement uniform. And as I said previously, the dangers are bad, if not worse, than those of our deployed military. But each of these selfless men knew this reality and still chose an occupation, a life committed to serve and to protect each one of us. A law enforcement career. And for that, I say a profound thank you. Don't look at today as the completion, but rather the first step of your career. You must look to your future and what challenges in your profession await you. Be it additional training or learning the specific tasks of your new positions. Tonight reminds me of when I graduated from Officer Candidate School some 46 years ago. And yes, I did serve with General Washington. I was a young second lieutenant, full of enthusiasm, like all of you, ready to go. the first thing I was advised is when you get to your unit, find a good non-commissioned officer to continue your training and mentorship. Not an officer, but a non-commissioned officer. Better advice could never have been given. You too need to find a senior officer and take advantage of the experience, the knowledge, the sensitivity, and the savvy of a veteran. This will ensure your success. Before I close, I want to talk to those sitting out there this evening with wide smiles of pride on your faces. Your support team, your family, and your friends. As we consider the time these public servants have committed and will continue to commit, we become mindful of their family members. Like the family members of our military, you will know firsthand the cost of serving our communities 24/7, 365. We all count on the families being flexible about holidays, rotating work shifts, and times when they unexpectedly get held over. You have stood behind your loved ones through their difficult training, and you will be there for them throughout the challenges they face. I know that to be fact. Officers, make sure you never forget to recognize their support and their service, and we as citizens should also do the same. We applaud you, and I salute you. May God bless you and keep you safe as you serve all of us. May God bless the communities you serve, and finally, may God bless our great United States of America. Thank you for the honor of addressing you.
I would now like to ask County Executive Gordon, Director Joseph Bryant, Colonel Setting, and General Vavala to come to the front of the podium for the presentation of badges. I would also like to ask the Mayor of Delaware City, the Honorable Stanley Green, to join Colonel Setting at the front of the podium. For those members pinning badges this evening, please make your way to the podium side of the stage. Those of you wishing to take pictures, please feel free to come in the front of the stage to take your photographs. We ask that everyone hold their applause until the recruit is announced as an officer. Slide to your left. We will now present the badge for the Delaware City recruit. Recruit Officer Earl McCluskey. Pinning Recruit Officer McCluskey's badge will be his wife, Master Corporal Anita McCluskey from the Delaware State Police. Recruit Officer Kevin Dool. Pinning Recruit Officer Dool's badge will be his wife, Stephanie Dool, from the Federal Air Marshal Service. Recruit Officer Shane Sapp. Recruit Officer Dominic Mills. Recruit Officer Trevor White. Officer Trevor White. Recruit Officer John Berg. Pinning Recruit Officer Berg's badge this evening will be his uncle, retired Newcastle County Police Master Corporal and current Delaware Technical and Community College Constable, Lieutenant Joe Berg. Recruit Officer James Daly. Officer James Daly. Recruit Officer Antonino DeLisi. Recruit Officer Ian Emmy. Recruit Officer Robert Hill. Officer Robert Hill. Recruit Officer Drew Hunt. Officer Drew Hunt. Recruit Officer Brian McLaughlin. Recruit Officer Michael Osborne. Officer Michael Osborne. Recruit Officer Justin Phelps. Pinning Recruit Officer Justin Phelps' badge will be his father, Deputy Commissioner Perry Phelps of the Delaware Department of Corrections. Officer Justin Phelps. Recruit Officer Anthony Randazzo. Officer Anthony Randazzo. Recruit Officer Paul Rusquet. Officer Paul Rusquet. Recruit Officer Matthew Savino. Pinning Recruit Officer Savino's badge will be his cousin, Newcastle County Police Department, Sergeant Brian Faulkner. Officer Matthew Savino. Recruit Officer Taylor Sagoda. Pinning Recruit Officer Sagoda's badge will be his father, Patrolman Stephen Sagoda, from the Upper Pottsgrove Township Police Department in Pennsylvania. Officer Taylor Sagoda. Recruit Officer Mitchell Snyder. Officer Mitchell Snyder. Recruit Officer Christopher Scrobot. Officer Christopher Scrobot. Recruit Officer Nicholas Tyndall. Officer Nicholas Tyndall. Back to you, County Executive Gordon, Director Bryant, Colonel Setting, and General Vavala. Would you please take your seats in the audience at this time? Each officer on stage has undergone 27 weeks of rigorous training that has tested their minds and bodies. At the conclusion of each training academy, the academy staff compiles the academic test scores, firearms qualification scores, and fitness test results for each recruit and determines the recipients of several coveted awards that are steeped in tradition. The first award we will present tonight is the Outstanding Physical Fitness Award. This award goes to the recruit who has maintained the highest level of physical fitness throughout their academy training. This award will be presented by the academy staff. Academy Commander Sergeant Glenn Davis and Drill Instructor Officer First Class Mark Censerato. The Outstanding Physical Fitness Award for the 42nd Recruit Class is presented to Officer Trevor White. The next award we will present is the Firearms Proficiency Award. This award is presented to the recruit who exhibits superior skill and ability in the use of firearms. The Firearms Proficiency Award will be presented by the division's lead firearms instructor, Master Corporal Kevin Werner. To say the least, the firearms training portion of the academy is very demanding. Each recruit officer shot over 3,000 rounds of ammunition during the course of their training. Recruits did much more than shoot at paper targets. Each recruit learned the necessary skills to shoot from different positions, shoot from inside vehicles, and shoot while under extreme levels of stress. The competition for this award was intense for the 42nd recruit class, as the two highest scorers were separated by 6/100ths of a point. The second highest score and runner-up for the Firearms Proficiency Award will receive a certificate for his achievement. With an average score of 246.31 out of a possible 250, Officer Brian McLaughlin is the runner-up. With an overall average score of 246.37 out of a possible 250, the Firearms Proficiency Award is presented to Officer Anthony Randazzo. Our next award is the Newcastle County Police Alumni Association Core Values Award. This award will be presented by retired Newcastle County Police Captain George Williamson. This award recognizes the recruit who consistently throughout the course of the academy demonstrated the core values of commitment, integrity, respect, teamwork, professionalism, courage, and discipline. It is the mission of the academy staff to instill and reinforce these values in each recruit through training and mentoring. The recipient of the Newcastle County Police Alumni Association Core Values Award is Officer John Berg. Our next award is the Delaware Attorney General's Award. This award will be presented by Attorney General Matthew Dehn. Sir, if you could please come to the stage. This award is presented to the recruit officer who has demonstrated outstanding academic achievement in the areas of criminal procedure, including criminal law, traffic law, and search and seizure. With an academic average of 94.75 in those categories, the recipient of the Attorney General Award is Officer Michael Osborne. The final two awards will be presented by Colonel Setting. Sir, if you could return to the stage. The first award is the Academic Achievement Award. Throughout the course of the academy, these officers received more than 700 hours of classroom instruction. The curriculum of our training academy is very challenging, covering topics such as criminal procedure, laws of arrest, rules of evidence, domestic violence, criminal law, traffic law, accident investigation, and search and seizure, just to name a few. Every officer in front of you has demonstrated a high level of proficiency in every topic covered over the last 27 weeks. While each recruit is required to pass exams in each subject area, They are also required to pass the Council on Police Training exam, which is a comprehensive, cumulative exam that ensures each recruit has mastered the necessary skills to uphold our Constitution and enforce the laws of our great state. The Academy staff strongly encourages all recruits to strive for academic excellence. We would now like to recognize those officers who excelled in the area of academics by maintaining an academic average of 95% or higher throughout the Academy. 5 recruits have achieved this level of success and will receive the Division's Superior Academic Achievement Award. Please stand if your name is called. With an average of 95.18%, Officer Matthew Savino. With an average of 95.55%, Officer Michael Osborne. With an average of 95.76, Officer John Berg. With an average of 96.11%, Officer Robert Hill. And with an academic average of 96.87%, the Outstanding Academic Achievement Award goes to Officer Dominic Mills. Our last award of the evening is the Chief of Police Outstanding Recruit Award. This award is presented to the recruit who has demonstrated exemplary performance in all areas of academic training, including academics, physical fitness, leadership, discipline, and motivation. Past recipients of this coveted award have gone on to become true leaders in law enforcement. The Chief of Police Outstanding Recruit Award is presented to Officer Anthony Randazzo. Each Academy class selects one of their own to speak at each Academy graduation. The 42nd recruit class has selected Officer John Berg for this honor.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the 42nd Academy class, I'd like to thank you for joining us in this pivotal moment in our careers. We thank our families and our friends who have supported us and given us strength to continue on this path. I'll first echo from the Academy staff that if rule number 1 is everyone goes home, then rule number 2 is remember those that did not. If you would, please join me in a moment of silence in honor of Lieutenant Joseph L. Zerba, who is the namesake of our Academy, and in honor of law enforcement officers across the country who have given their lives for the sake of others. Thank you. The last 6 months have been marked by physical and mental challenges. In a span of training that began with crawling on the floor looking for the right name tag, we've had over 1,000 hours of study of law, training in necessary police skills such as driving and firearms, and practical application exercises that involve taking control of extremely realistic scenarios. Class 42 has done tens of thousands of push-ups, run hundreds of miles, said perhaps 10,000 sir yes sirs and ma'am yes ma'ams, and performed an unhealthy number of burpees. Within this class, there are members of the armed forces and graduates from college. There's a member beginning his second career, while others turned 21 and even graduated college while still in the academy. One of our drill instructors was promoted to sergeant, and there were times that we wished that they would all get promoted. While the 42nd Academy class has certainly changed physically and in our knowledge and training, none of the officers you see here today is walking away a different person than the one that entered the police academy. Every one of them came in with a goal and mindset that they would overcome obstacles and serve others before themselves. The person who wanted to be that sheepdog, that guardian, existed long before day one. They are servants who are dedicated to maintaining a warrior mindset while giving of self to help other people. The life of a police officer is not for everyone. Out of a pool of about 1,700 applicants, 27 of us made it through the rigorous vetting. 6 of that number did not or could not continue through the entire academy. It is perhaps more appropriate to call the law enforcement profession a calling than a career. Maybe that's why members of this academy would take getting tased and pepper sprayed, asking ourselves, why would anyone want to be a cop for this? But pushed on anyway. It takes the ability to push oneself to the utmost limit and endure there. It takes love of country and community to be willing to go the extra mile for a complete stranger, not for the sake of thanks or for recognition, but simply because it is right. Some of the most rewarding times in the academy were when we as a class were able to participate in volunteer events, such as running the 5K against domestic violence, Lieutenant Joseph L. Zerba 5K, and the Mounted 5K. We also had the opportunity to engage with the community during the Casting with Cops event at Glasgow Park. One of the moments that is highlighted in our memories from this academy was not planned, however. One day at the academy, Sergeant Cumberbatch led us on a formation run throughout the community. As we returned to the academy, we stopped at the basketball court to meet some children who had come to play after school. What began as a quick high evolved into playing basketball with the kids, academy style. Whenever the kids scored a shot, we had to drop and do push-ups. We can all say we did not expect to do so many push-ups during a simple game of basketball. That moment, while trivial to some, reminded us of why we first wanted to become police officers. We all want to make a difference in people's lives. A part of doing that is engaging people, being human, learning about them, and showing them that we're just as human as they, though perhaps not quite as good at basketball. One of our guest speakers in the academy, Lieutenant Colonel David Grossman, traced the law enforcement profession to its roots in medieval knighthood. He said knights were not just trained to go to war abroad, but to travel the countryside, ensuring justice, protecting those traveling the highways, and helping others in need. If they carried their shield on their right shoulder, it showed that they were at ease, using their dominant hand. Carrying the shield on their left shoulder showed that they were vigilant, ready to take it up and draw their swords. While we have upgraded from swords, our shields are still worn on the left. They are there to remind the public and ourselves that we are always ready to help those in need and shield those in danger. It is that undeterred vigilance and selflessness that characterize what it means to be an officer and a guardian. I'd now like to invite Colonel Elmer M. Setting to the stage to receive the class gift from the 42nd Academy.
I've already spoken tonight, but I've taken the colonel's privilege to do some housekeeping. I've been without a lieutenant colonel now for about 3.5 weeks. Very difficult thing to do without having a deputy chief, and we can talk about leadership, or we can make decisions and we can lead. I would like to call Director of Public Safety Joseph Bryant back to the stage, and our County Executive Tom Gordon. Major Vaughn Bond, front and center. Major Vaughn Bond, my operations commander, is now being promoted to the rank of Lieutenant Colonel and to the title and position of Deputy Chief, effective immediately. Captain Patrick Crowell, front and center. Captain Crowell, I'm taking this opportunity to promote you to the rank of Major, Operations Command of the Newcastle County Police Department, effective immediately.
Thank you, Officer Berg, for your speech. The accomplishments of this class are quite remarkable. I would now like to recognize the efforts of the Academy staff. Could Sergeant Glenn Davis, Sergeant Kavan Cumberbatch, and Drill Instructor Mark Censerato please come to the stage? Over the past 27 weeks, Sergeant Davis, Sergeant Cumberbatch, and Drill Instructor Censerato have gone to painstaking efforts training and mentoring the officers that have received their badges this evening. The Academy staff led the way in developing them into well-rounded and well-prepared police officers you see here this evening. The Training Academy has truly developed the mind, body, and character of these individuals and infused them with the strength, courage, and the confidence they need to be guardians of our community. Thank you for all of your dedication. I would be remiss if I did not also thank all of the instructors for the countless hours of instruction they provided for this recruit class. Many of these instructors are here with us this evening. As a result of their dedication, there is no doubt these officers are the finest our community has to offer and are thoroughly prepared to accept their next challenge of field training. In addition, I would like to thank Lieutenant James Unger and all of the staff in the Professional Development Unit for their dedication to these officers throughout the Academy, as well as their preparation for the ceremony this evening. I ask that we give all of these instructors and staff a round of applause to thank them for a job well done. I know Colonel Setting mentioned something earlier, but I did want to make one more recognition. Joining us tonight is retired Lieutenant Colonel Matthew Jameson. Would you please stand, sir? He has served with the Newcastle County Police Department for over 3 decades. He has been part of training for the majority of our division, and this class, the 42nd, was his final class as Lieutenant Colonel Jameson retired at the beginning of this month. Sir, thank you for your support of these officers here tonight.
Let us pray. Loving God, in every age you raise up men and women as role models for the young. These new officers are our hope, our future as keepers of the peace. Grant them a spirit of peace and grace. Bless them with purity of intent, so they may work without ceasing to establish justice, which alone ensures true and lasting peace. Unite them by a fraternal spirit. Watch over them and protect them from being harmed, so that each day they may return to family, friends, and a loving home. Truly, God, bless the work of their hands. This we make our prayer. Amen.
Second recruit class, dismissed.